Oh, me. Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a story time actually, which I think this is my very first story time on this channel, so that's pretty exciting. But it's going to be about the time that I literally almost failed. I'm pretty sure I did fail, but we'll get into that later on in the video, how I almost failed first year accounting. And you're probably wondering why the hell I'm telling the story. A, because I think it's equal parts tragic and equal parts hilarious, but also leading into the school year, there's a really huge, I feel like, moral out of this story that I want y'all to take away from this. And going into the school year, I really want y'all to keep that in mind when it comes to finals and exams. But without me blabbing along, let me just go ahead and get started. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like and comment down below, but we'll cover that all in the outro. But let me just go ahead and get started with this exceptionally tragic story time, and hopefully you learn something from this story time, which is you pretty much don't be like me. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get started. So this tragic ass story starts off in high school actually. So this is probably going to be something I covered later on in another video, but going into university, so before I applied to go to University of Guelph, I actually had no intentions of doing business. I know, weird. So I wanted to do psych, I think a Bachelor of Science in Psych. So when it came to my courses in high school, I took all the maths, I took all the sciences, I think I took law, psychology, and that was it. I took English, of course, but I did not take any business courses. I had no intentions of doing business. Going into university, I thought business was super boring. The only connections I had to business was my dad. I knew he did business and I thought that shit was so boring. I did not want to do it. So I did not take any business courses. In my high school, they did have accounting. They had grade 11 and 12 accounting, and I remember grade 11 accounting was the course to take. So many people took grade 11 accounting. I guess as a backup, I was a dumb bitch and I did not take accounting. I mean, in my defense, at the time I had no intentions of doing business, so I was like, why waste my time taking accounting? So I took other science, mathy type courses, and I did not take accounting. So that's why we start here. I did not take it. I did not take grade 11 accounting. I didn't take grade 12 accounting, and then I applied to do business at. So fast forward to first year, which again, I think I'll do a whole video on first year too. But going into first year, I did not know anything about business at all. I didn't know anything about the courses I was taking. Don't do that. Don't be like me. But I knew nothing. I was like, I'm gonna go in and we'll just go and see how this is gonna go. And that's just that on that. Fast forward to second semester, we were scheduled to take financial accounting, and going into it, honestly, I remember thinking, like, looking at all my courses, I was like, financial accounting, just accounting in general, I knew nothing. I was like, I don't know what this means. I don't know anything about this. How hard could it be? Like I said, in high school, all I did was math, basically. I was like, you know what? I've done calculus, I've done advanced functions, I've done data management. Like, how hard can accounting be? I'm going to take a wild guess. At the time I said, take a wild guess and assume it's not as hard as advanced functions, so I should be fine.
You've got a big storm coming.
First class, I realized I was in some shit, because I remember the first lecture, my prof basically said, oh, you know what, this course is going to be so easy for y'all because guess what, we are just going to be continuing from grade 12 accounting. See, that's an issue for me because I didn't even take grade 11 accounting, and we're just gonna jump right off to grade 12 accounting. So I was already behind. Like, you know those memes or those tweets at the beginning of the school year where they're like, we were just given the syllabus and all of a sudden I'm behind? That was me. Like, it was the first day and I'm like, I'm already behind. Like, I didn't take grade 12 accounting. So when it came to this class, like, there was just, everything was going wrong. From my prof to how he set up the class. I remember with accounting, he basically did not go over any terms. He didn't go over anything because, like I said, he basically treated this course as if you've already taken grade 11 and 12 accounting, and he was just continuing from that. So basically how our lectures worked is he would put up a few questions on the board and he would just like work through them as a class, which I think in some cases works, but for me that doesn't work because I didn't even know what accounting was, and all of a sudden we were solving problems. I didn't know what all the accounts were. I mean, to this day I actually don't really know what accounts receivables is, but that's besides the point. So he basically would just put up a question and we would just solve it as a class. Like, it was so crazy. Like, he would just put up a accounting question, and he would just tell us how to like set up our account. Like, see, I still don't know what the fuck was going on in that class, bro. From where I was at, it seemed like everyone else was getting it. I did not know what the hell was going on. I legitimately did not know what the fuck was going on. Like, he would read a question and I'm like, what is the question? I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what we were doing. I was just copying what he was writing down, and that was just that on that. So not only was the content itself was just, I just didn't understand, but my prof, I also didn't understand. I don't like to be one of those like, you know, those students who are like, my prof's accent, I don't understand it. I don't do that. I feel like that's borderline racist, but maybe that's a discussion for another day. But this prof, usually I will say, usually I'm pretty good with accents. Like, I don't think doesn't bother me, but this guy, bro, I could not understand what this man was saying. Like, it was as if he did not pause. There was no period in his sentence. It was like he was talking in a whole run-on sentence for, I think my class was like an hour and a half. For the whole hour and a half, I don't think he took a pause. If he did, I didn't know. He just was talking for a whole hour and a half, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I could not understand what the hell we were doing. I basically was just sitting there like, y'all get this? Oh, okay. Y'all get this? Cause I don't. So it basically went on like this up until our first midterm. So how this course was set up, we had 2 midterms and a final. So our first midterm, I did what I thought was studying in first year. I just, you know, did whatever. I tried my best to like study, but like in reality I don't really know what I was doing. You know, I showed up to this midterm, you know, they had us sit down, you know, as you do with midterm, and it was just like lights out after that. I did not know any of these questions. I was like, bro, like, this is so, I knew it was a wrap from the minute I read the first question. But the worst part is I thought it seemed like everyone else knew what they were doing, and then I was just there like, anyways, I handed in the midterm and I went about my business. So a few weeks later, we got our midterms marked back, and I got a 34%. It was not good, of course. I mean, 34% is a fail, so. But at that point, I wasn't like super worried about it because I was like, I still have another midterm and a final left to do. So I still attended this class. At this point, I don't even think I'm paying attention. I think I was just like on my phone the entire time. Don't do that, but I did that. And yeah, it was just getting real bad and real out of hand. I had another friend in a marketing class, and I remember I was talking to her about how accounting just was not it for me, and she was like, oh my god, like, you should attend my lecture because my prof is actually really good. And so y'all, this course, it got so bad that I literally started attending a different class. Like, I just did not attend my lecture. I went to her lectures and I just stopped attending my own because I couldn't understand my prof. I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, let me attend her prof instead. And I wasn't enrolled in this class either. I just like showed up and I kept showing up. I'm sure he was really confused as to who this chick was in his class, but oh well. So at this point, I was kind of like, I thought I was starting to understand it a little bit better. I will say he was a lot more, it was a lot easier to understand this prof, and I liked the way that he set up his classes, but I still didn't know what the fuck was going on. So At the time though, I was on under this false pretense that I didn't know what was going on. So going into our second midterm, I felt a little bit more confident about it. I remember legitimately doing practice questions for this midterm and feeling ready for it, feeling good about it. So we did the second midterm, and I remember doing the questions and I was like, okay, like I think we got this. Like I think we got this. I think we got this. A few weeks later, I got my midterm mark back and the girl got a 30%. So let's rewind, okay? So the first midterm, the one that I thought I did worse on, I got a 34. And the second midterm that I thought I studied more for and I felt more prepared for, I got a 30. Safe to say I was fucked. So at this point, I'm like, all right, this is not working. I calculated my mark at this point. I had like a 32% in this class. It was so bad. So I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna drop the course. So I made an appointment with my program counselor, as I mentioned in my previous video, and I went to go talk to him about like just general course stuff. And then towards the end of the meeting, I was like, yeah, I am going to drop accounting. And he looks at me and he's like, how? And I look at him and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just gonna go on WebAdvisor and drop the course. And he's like, the course drop date passed. It was on Friday. My meeting with this program counselor was on Monday. So I had to finish the course. And I remember like legitimately being like, but I'm gonna fail this. And he's like, well, I mean, so after this meeting, I go back to my dorm and I go on the Guelph, I think, library like calculator where you can calculate what your grades are in the class. So I put in my 2 marks and I go to see what I need to pass this course. And I put in my 2 marks, the 34 and the 30%, and I think I had like a 32 on the course overall. And I scroll down to see what I needed on the final, and your girl needed a 75%.
What the hell we gonna do now?
I had not, y'all don't understand, I had not scored a mark higher than a 40. And I was expected to get a 75 to pass. Like, not even like I needed a 75 to get a certain mark. I needed a 75 to pass. Like, to pass the course. To pass the course, I needed a B+. I needed a B+ to get a D. Like, that was how bad I was doing in this course. I needed a 75. I had not gotten anything in this class higher than a 34%. I needed a 75. A 75. Oh my god. Bro. It's safe to say I was legitimately fucked now. So I was screwed. So I basically had 2 options. I was like, okay, either I just take the L and I fail this course, or at least I try. You know, I'll try maybe a little bit. So I decided to take the latter. I decided to, like, you know what, fuck it, I'll try. So at this point, I had 2 weeks until this final. I had 2 weeks to figure out what financial accounting even is, and those 2 weeks did not go well. I could not understand shit. I would open up the textbook and cry because I legitimately did not know what was going on. There was no hope. Like, there was literally none. I remember trying to find a tutor. There was no tutors available. I was trying to find an SLG. There was no SLGs available. There was nothing for me to at least pass this course. There was nothing, literally nothing. I was doomed. I'm like, I'm gonna fail this course. Like, I'm legitimately gonna fail this course. Anyways, test day, final exam day finally rolls up. I tried what I could, you know, tried to pull something off, and I go to my final. Child, the final was like even worse than the 2 midterms. I'm pretty positive I answered 3.5 questions out of like the 8 that were on there. I think one I literally just wrote the formula down because I didn't know what was going on. Another question, I just put a question mark because I don't know what the question, I didn't even know what the question was. I was like, what are you even trying to ask me? Like, I don't know, like, what did you want me to solve? This final was so bad that I wrote on one of the questions. People think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm dead the fuck serious. Like, one of the questions, you guys, one of the questions I wrote, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to answer this. I might as well be honest to the TA who's marking this and say, listen bro, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what the question is. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what formula you want me to use. I don't know how to set up a freaking cash flow statement. I don't know what. I don't know. So I'm sorry you had to mark this, but this is my work. And I legitimately wrote that. People think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I had nothing to lose. I was like, you know what are they gonna do? Give me a 0? I'm already getting a 0 at this point, so I might as well just write, listen, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So oops. It was one of those finals that was so bad. Like, you know when people start pulling out calculators and you're looking at them like, what are you using a calculator for? It was one of those. Finished the final, went home, cried, as you do. So a few weeks later, the marks are released and I'm like, oh shit, okay, like I know I'm failing this course. Like, I knew I was failing this course. I kept the textbook because like I knew I was doing summer school. A few weeks later, marks are released. So I go into HopeAdvisor. I was like, yeah, failed. So failed this course. Keep in mind, I needed a 7, like I cannot reiterate this enough. I needed a 75 to pass the course, right? And I answered 3 questions, so there's no way. I was like, I'm failing. I log on to HopeAdvisor. The marks load. I look at the screen. I do a scan. None of the numbers start with the 4. And I scan again. And I'm like, none of the numbers start with the 4. All of them are 5 and above. In Ontario, at least in Canada, in Ontario, a fail is a 50 and below. So none of these numbers started with a 4. Did I just pass accounting? Did I just pass accounting? I scroll again and I look. Do you know, y'all want to know what I got in accounting? Y'all want to know? Y'all want to know what I got in this fucking course? This bitch here, this one, I got a 51. I got a 51% in this course. Bro, y'all remember what I said before? I needed a 75 to get a 50 and I ended up with a 51. Going into the course, into the final, I had a 32%. My mark jumped over 20%. You guys, I don't think you get it. Let me say it again. I needed a 75 to pass the course. I finished with a 51. That means I got a 76. How? Your girl don't know. I don't know how. I don't know who. I don't know which TA lost their job to pass me. I don't know. I don't know what witchcraft that was. I don't know who exam they accidentally marked instead of mine. I don't know. But your girl passed accounting, even though I was failing accounting the entire time. And I had a 32% probably going into the final. And I finished with a mark that was 20, almost 20% higher than the one I went in with. I have never, even on exams that I've aced, I have never, ever, ever, ever had my mark jump that high. Ever. I really don't know, but your girl passed the course. So the moral of the story is, okay, first of all, don't be a dumb bitch like myself. If you are taking a course, you don't know anything about it before going, read up on it a little bit, you know, 1. 2, the other thing I wanted to really stress, and I always bring this story up every final season when my friends are like, I'm gonna fail. You're not gonna fail. If I was able to pass the course needing a 75 and I never got anything above a 30 or 40% all semester, you're gonna pass your midterms, okay? You have to believe that you're gonna pass. As much as I wanted to believe that I was gonna fail that shit, 1% of me was like, maybe I can pull this off. Like, I was like, maybe I can legitimately pull this off. And the reason I believe that is because if I really did think I was gonna just fail it, I wouldn't have even bothered to have studied. A small part of me was like, okay, but I might be able to pull this off. And I did, bro. I did everything that could go wrong when studying for this final went wrong, and I still managed to pull it out of my ass. I don't know how, and I hope I never have to do that shit again, but I did it. So believe in yourself, especially when it comes to midterms and school coming up. If you have a course that's giving you hell, don't give up on it, okay? Maybe you might actually pull it off, and I almost guarantee you're probably smarter than I am, and you probably will. So that's the end of my story time. It was really quick. I hope it made sense, because I feel like I got really passionate about it, and I hope I didn't lose the story there. Yeah, I feel like I have a couple of other story times. Maybe I'll tell you them in the future. But if you enjoyed this one, make sure to comment down below, like, and please subscribe to my channel. We're moving on up there, okay? So stay tuned for more content. I'll be happy to be filming some more university content in the future. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video, and I will talk to you guys later. And yeah, bye.